welcome to another edition of Trial by Magus. This is a special episode featuring another Tier 10 aircraft. Now, up front, I'm going to give props and credits to Bobo Zibair, who was kind enough to loan me his hangar for the purpose of carrying out this review, as I do not have this aircraft myself, and Wargaming does not do press accounts for coverage like this in Warplanes. That being said, let's take a look at this little demon. That's nasty looking right there. Now, the FW-252 is basically the Tier 9 TA-183's bigger, meaner, older brother. The TA-183 being the Tier 9 German fighter from the Focke-Wulf line, while the TA-183 won the competition for Germany's new standard single-engine jet fighter, even while that aircraft was being geared up for production, which it never reached historically. Kurt Tonk and the other engineers at Focke-Wulf realized that the design, even though it was the winner, was a flawed design, so they began working on improvements immediately. And a follow-up blueprint featuring multiple improvements to the basic TA-183 design coalesced into this thing, and it was designated the FW-252. Let's take a look at what she has here. The FW-252 only carries one pair of guns, and they're 30mm MG-213-30s. These are the same guns you will find on the German Tier 10 heavy fighter, the 262 HG-3, and the German Tier 10 attack aircraft, the Messerschmitt MEP 1102. You know the Germans and their guns. Go big or go home. Now, being a light fighter, the 252 only has two of those, and those are chin-mounted right underneath the engine inlet. Engine, the 252 uses the BMW 10908, which is only used on the 252. That is not shared with anything else. One thing to note here, if you research the FW-252 or the MEP 1102 before you reach Tier 10 in the German heavy fighter line, you will unlock those Tier 10 guns for free. So if you're pursuing multiple lines at the same time, I highly recommend getting either this or the 1102 first before you move on to getting the HG3, because you'll save yourself some grind time. Now, characteristics of the aircraft. Let's take a look at what she's got here. The FW-252 has low hit points. She's a light fighter after all. Firepower is on the low end of middling. Airspeed, very good, 923. Maneuverability, it's moderate at 228, and that number is misleading because it is based mostly on the aircraft's roll rate and not its ability to pitch. Altitude performance, 2000. According to the bar here, that looks pretty good, but compare that to the TA-183, which comes in at 2300, and let's go one further down the line and take a look at the TA-152. 2650. Wow, the 252 really gets hosed on its altitude performance compared to the two aircraft that came previously to it in the exact same tech line. And I can tell you that you don't even need to compare that altitude performance to the other fighters you'll find at Tier 10. The 252 is really low on altitude ability. So, how exactly do you fly this thing? Well, you want to take advantage of her excellent roll rate and her excellent speed in the horizontal. This is going to start sounding familiar because she flies like the FW-190s that appeared earlier in the line. You want to do horizontal boom and zoom with this aircraft and use her excellent roll rate to evade as you extend before you come around for another pass. Teamwork really helps out with this and will peel off an aircraft before it chases you for too long. So the FW-252 really does benefit from teamwork, like almost every other aircraft in the game. But it can be a solid performer solo if you have enough skill at evasion and you are really good with your aim, so you don't have to worry about not having much gun time with it. The guns on it will overheat fairly quickly compared to what you might be accustomed to on the HG3 and especially on the 1102B. It being a light fighter, the way that these massive cannons have been balanced out is that they just overheat quicker on this airframe. But on the other airframes, the exact same guns have different performance. Now the 252 is a pretty handsome looking aircraft appearance-wise. You can tell that she's definitely related to the other late war German jet fighter designs. Her landing gear arrangement is very similar to the Messerschmitt P1101 and the TA-183 and the 1092, because it's basically a cockpit strapped onto a gigantic jet engine with a couple of guns strapped onto the side, and everything else is just slapped on wherever it would be most structurally sound. So that ties into why the 252 has such a low health pool, because there isn't a lot of aircraft I'm looking at here that is not vital to staying airborne. If any of this gets damaged, it affects everything else. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the battle that has been supplied to me for this aircraft, also flown by Bobo Ziber. Thanks again for sending me that there, Bo. And I hope you all enjoy the show he put on for us. Good hunting.